just not watching out there, we're going to check out the bonus features here with the interview with Ashley Tisdale.
Who we thought was going to be plot armor, but in reality, lesser screen times.
Honestly, I figured she would have.
I'm
plot
happy.
armor.
Not happy she got
Queen
less
bitch
screen time.
finds out
but-
about this, she's gonna flip her shit.
Rachel and I, we know each other.
Sir?
The queen bitch you're referring to is his wife. Nice
Hey, his
work,
face.
Hotshot.
Ashley Tisdale, welcome. Now, Ashley plays Rachel in Supermassive Games' Dark Pictures Anthology's House of Ashes. All right, Ashley, what can you tell me about your character?
My character, Rachel, is a CIA operative.
Man, she got
and
older.
it is taken place in 2003 in the
I
Gulf
mean,
War.
that happens, but
and
I know,
she's
but
it
on a
doesn't always
mission to
happen at the
find
same
chemical
rate that
weapons.
people
Right.
are expected to
She's
do.
pretty badass.
So.
She went
Wow.
from
This is your
the
first
Ashley
time
Tisdale we
doing a
knew
video
to-
game.
This is my first time, yeah.
Wow, so how does that process compare to maybe the stuff that you've done, on camera before?
I think that it's just very obviously a different approach to it. I do a lot of voiceover for animation series, so I would say it's more in line with that because you're in a studio all day and it's like you and the script and then also like some of the other characters, but
Must
it's just
be
like
kinda
kind of going
weird
through it really fast
to do a
versus,
video game at
you
first.
know, one scene on a TV
Right.
show or a movie could take like an hour
'Cause,
or
like,
2 hours.
as an
so
actor,
you're
it
constantly
would be
going through
a
it. It's
different
a really
thing
long
altogether.
process. But it's cool, it's different. You're wearing like heavy machinery on your head. And it's like getting all of your facial expressions. So it's pretty crazy.
You can just be like completely like so muscular by the time you're done. Your neck will be
My
holding
neck
this-
is super strong.
yeah, the strongest neck ever now.
Weird to see her
Yeah.
like this.
And how do you
It's been so
prepare for
long
something like
since I've
that? Then
seen
I
her,
feel like
like,
the
you know.
script, it's not maybe necessarily
Right.
you're preparing for particular
I
scenes.
wasn't, like, a big
everything's so
fan of
varied.
her
How do you
or-
really kind of
Like, I know
generate
her
that?
name, but I'm not.
I pretty
yeah,
much, obviously read the script beforehand, but I don't spend a lot of time on it like I would another script, like either with a movie or a TV, because it's the same thing of how I approach animations, is that I know when I'm here, I'm going to be with the director and they're going to have me do it like multiple different ways because there is multiple different directions
That
the
seems
character
fair.
can go.
Right.
So
They're
if I
gonna
were to
get the
fully
one that
prepare,
they
I would
want,
maybe like
and then
put myself
even
in this like, well, it's got to be this way.
they're gonna
Honestly,
do
I
it.
feel like it
Feel
would be
free
hard to
like,
do
be
like
able
a
to
fucking
have them
video
say,
game.
do it more
'cause there's
sympathetic
some-
and
especially
do it
one
more
like
angry.
this.
And so
Yeah, especially a
I
game
kind
like
of
this.
don't fully prepare.
it
I just
doesn't
know
really make
who the
sense to
character is,
dedicate
and
yourself
as long as I know the
to
intention of what
Right.
I'm saying, then I'm
that.
good.
Just be like, I know my character.
The guy served me.
I'll do it however I'm told
can't be quite
because
strange.
I'm gonna have to do it like
Probably doesn't get to see a woman
5
be around these
times
parts
at
very often,
least.
especially when it's
Just
showered.
if I do it right.
But with any
I'll do it
series
5
or film,
times
it's just that one
differently
linear path for the
right.
character.
Yeah.
And with this,
You
you have
know,
the option of
'cause there's
living
many
in
different arcs.
multiple- yeah, how do you
Yeah.
kind of keep it all straight or keep a continuity with your
That's
character through all that?
That's
Honestly, I don't
the-
even remember half of it. I think it's just obviously relying on the director.
You just
and
count
the
on
guys
them
at
and know
Supermassive,
that
they're
they're
just
gonna do
really
it
great
right.
at knowing where we are in the storyline. And so
You do
it's
what you're
just
told. It'd be
cool to
heavily
kinda, like,
trusting them.
watch some
and
people,
then,
like,
just
make
kind of
this, you know,
knowing,
like, do the
yeah,
thing.
that it's just going to go. I can't, there's just so many different areas that it can go. And I could die in one of the things, and I could become a vampire. I can, like, live. It's just, like, it's
Oh,
so
well, that's a
crazy
thing that
how
could
opposite.
happen. I mean, we both knew she could die. We didn't know she was a vampire.
That
It's
is
got to be
surprising
interesting
much.
too
I
to
mean,
think
like,
that someone's
you know.
gonna like play you in a game.
Oh, yeah,
and
she
maybe
was infected
you'll
with the
die, or
parasite.
you'll
Right.
live, or
Thought
you'll
she
Yeah.
was
like the
dead
people will
for
be
a
in
bit.
control of your future.
I know. I think it's gonna be really crazy just seeing my face on like the character.
I
you
mean,
know?
that
Like,
would be
that's
kinda
gonna be So
weird.
wild. It's so crazy how far video games have come. It's so
She
much
doesn't
more
really look
cinematic
too
and,
much like
the
her
movies.
own thing.
Right, it's like,
But
you know it's
maybe-
her, but
It's, like,
you also,
beautiful to
if you didn't
watch,
know who
but,
she was
it's gonna be
before, you would be like, who is she?
Now, I guess we have a couple rapid
Also,
fire
once again, cannot
questions that
believe
I'd
she
like
was
to
in Donnie
hit you
Darko,
with as
like-
well. Okay, ready for
That
this?
threw me
Okay,
off.
so
It's
bitten
still
by a
throwing me
off.
vampire or
It's still
Now,
buried
like,
alive?
looking at her dead face, it's like still throwing
Yeah,
me off.
bitten by a vampire.
Oh, really?
Well, then you get to live forever. So
That is true. Okay, I never thought of that element of it.
That's the most basic
element.
element of
I
being
think my
bitten
favorite
by a
scene would have
vampire
to be
where you get turned into
probably
a
early
vampire.
on between Rachel and her husband. It's a
Really?
flashback,
That's-
and it's them
that's
in the
your-
car. And
Maybe
it's a
this is
moment in
more
time that kind of changes
significant,
everything.
you know?
And what I love about it is that it really shows who Rachel was and how it changed her to become who she is today. There's just so much happening in the game that it's just like a moment where it's just like really kind of stripped down.
Now I remember
and
this scene. This was one of my favorite scenes only because they reference
The
Little
What is
Hope.
it?
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure
The
Little
guy who
Hope was
served
also
me.
referenced in
I don't
Anna
know,
Dan,
he's looking at me
maybe,
pretty
but I'm
strange.
not sure.
You know, my sole objective, Rach, is to make you happy. Doesn't matter where we are or what we're going through, I'll always put a
It
smile
looks
on
like her, but also doesn't look like her.
See? I told you.
So how do you
It's
get
kinda
into that?
weird to
Obviously,
see him like
you know,
this, 'cause, like,
it's
look at that
such
guy.
a sudden
He
change.
does
No
not
offense,
look at
but-
all
Couldn't
like.
really get
It does not do
They,
it. Sizzle
they sort of
I
dressed
think
him
how
up
we've
and
done
sort of
it is
dressed her
that we would
down.
start
I
off with the
guess,
earlier stuff,
you know?
so
Okay.
it's kind of like you're building to the bigger pieces. And yeah, usually the end of the day we'll have like the biggest stuff, whether that's us like screaming and fighting, because it obviously drains
Yeah.
us and our vocals. So you
Yeah,
know,
it
they
doesn't
know
make
to kind
sense
of
to
like
put-
have us do
Smart.
the whole like action stuff at the very end of the day.
They're breaking through the perimeter.
Got any bright ideas?
So
Now's the
everything gets
time.
shot out of sequence.
I want to
which
see the
makes
guy
no
that plays
sense,
Jason.
right?
Also, yeah, that plays Nick, because, like, you know, do they look like what they say on the tin? Because she
Really
kind of
oddly,
looks like what
you
they
know,
say on
we're
tin,
gonna
but
be
not
screaming,
really. And then
screaming,
the
it's
guy
hard
that
to
plays
go
her
backwards.
husband,
You're gonna be back
Eric,
alive
is like,
again, and it's the touching moment.
Kinda
You're
looks
gonna
like
die.
they
Yeah,
changed
the first time it's gonna be like a strange
however
well,
experience.
some
they
people,
want to
it's
on your own and
their face,
acting on
but not
that.
their voice, or
Yeah.
their voice and not the
Yeah,
face.
it's definitely a very interesting process
And that
to
kind
watch,
of throws
and it's
things off. So,
different from anything I've ever
but
done.
also, why do they do that? I don't
Always put the
understand.
camera on,
Like,
like,
why don't they
Oh,
just
no,
have
I
the
take
same
them off
person
right
do
away.
all of
Okay.
it?
Anytime I can get a
If
break,
they're
because
so
it is
willing.
a heavy thing, and so
not
it's just
sure
like
why.
Because me
Watching the
personally, I would
sitting on the
rather
couch
do
with,
all
like,
of it
holding
compared to
the helmet
just,
up, because
oh,
it's
well, you
like,
can use my voice
you know,
and not
it's,
my
it's
face.
like a
Like,
weight on your head.
Ah, might as well go all
it's
in.
pretty crazy.
I feel
It's
like
expensive
they
equipment. You don't want to like
wanted,
bang it on.
No.
if that's the
No.
case, that
Well,
they
now that
would
they've got
want
you,
somebody
they
that
put you in anything.
does
I know.
the thing
I'm so
very
excited
well.
because I've never been
And
able
they
he's
to
never
do
done a
something
video
like
game
this.
before.
Okay, well that's good.
This is still a new element to it.
Yeah, name recognition, I guess. I don't know.
It would,
They do that in every
like,
one of the,
all the names we know first and last, they do kind of do it, you know, the way she's doing it. But there is people that's like, it doesn't work like that. They just do it.
right now there's a lot of people who actually are professionals in this industry as opposed to first timers that are just being paid extra money.
Like the guy that played
'Cause
Danny and
they-
Man of Medan and played the other stuff. And also, actually, better example, this guy right here. Who's, ooh, Interview with a Monster Maker? Why not? I don't know why one's locked, but
Yeah, that's
also we
weird.
got that dude, and we saw what that dude looks like in
Creature
real life,
has
right?
powerful claws.
That guy
I
does,
think we
Fangs
did.
point
he does not look
not-
like what he looks like
Yeah.
on the tin, just
Identifiable
saying.
tissue. Two of the incisors.
All
are
I'm
grossly
saying,
malformed
catfishing,
and
man.
discolored. Blood is like nothing I've seen.
We always like to base our stories in some sort of real-world truth.
This is the game
folklore, it's
director.
mythology. With vampires, obviously, there's so much to choose from cultures all the way around the world.
Yeah.
So rather than pick one particular legend, we thought it would be fun to create a monster that ties all of those legends together in some way.
That's
So
fair.
we had an idea for a creature that lives underneath the ground and emerges every few years. Our vampire is actually an alien parasite. It invades a host body.
I mean, that was like a
The
new
creatures
thing.
you can see
I
in
mean,
House
it
of
makes
Ashes,
sense
the
for the
winged demonic
concept,
creatures,
you know?
were actually once
True, that's not
a
what you expect at
intelligent
first.
race of cosmic nomads traveling through the stars on this big generation ship. They somehow picked up this alien parasite and it ravaged through their crew, and their ship went out of control and crash landed into prehistoric Earth, where it was buried under the ground in what is now the Zagros Mountains. Being a
I
parasite,
feel like,
this
do you
alien
imagine
slug
the
needs to
amount
find a
of
host
fucking
body,
research that
living
goes
body,
into
or
doing
recently
something like
dead.
this?
Once it invades that body,
Seems
it
like it would
grows
be a
inside
lot.
it, killing the host if host is still alive. And its tendrils reach out into the host's brain and hijack its central nervous system, reanimating it. It then goes on the hunt for blood. it
Oh,
feeds
yeah.
on the
Look
adrenaline
at that.
in
Boy.
it. So in order to get the adrenaline pumping, it needs to terrify its prey. So it shrieks at them and drags the kill out until the blood is really, really pumping and then it strikes.
You keep lookout. Fuck!
Oh, that actually makes a lot of sense
We
on their
wanted
hunting.
to show the viewer
thing.
different forms of the creature to make them think that initially it's a demon, then they think that it's a vampire, and then finally the revelation that it's an alien.
I mean, that's kind of what
That
they
is-
did. They
that-
did a good job of
Parasites
that.
Yeah,
come to
they did a good
infect
job there.
Game characters. This shows a game character who's going through different stages, is infected, starts to affect the character, and there's a final look from that where the fangs are coming through the skull. So that's one of the developments of how our classic vampire is actually a host. Another example of that is an Akkadian warrior who's been taken over by the parasite, and again the fangs have come through, the vines are poking through the head. This human is now being taken over, his skin is dying, the parasite is trying to grow within. But we progressed that into looking at the design on the alien demon, I call it. This had to have very
It's
unique
interesting to hear,
elements that
you
came
know,
through
the
from the
second
head.
stuff behind the
So
scenes,
we've
you know?
got a very animalistic head here, but also we've got the fangs. These fangs are coming from the parasite that's within, so the fangs are coming through. It's almost deforming the shape of the host.
Oh shit!
Are they saying that?
What the fuck happened to your teeth? bro?
Okay, so like
What?
We
Oh,
refined
shit!
that
What happened to
further
your teeth,
what is
buddy?
our final head, where the ear is part
the
of
things
skull
that
and
brought
it
this to
flexes
our
open.
planet,
A bit like a frill.
were
lizard,
they
like the
more
frill
like
of the
this
canopy
thing?
comes out. Our head is actually
And then-
moving
Like,
apart.
yeah,
We've
what
got
was it?
illustrations that show that where
Now,
the head is dormant and it's concealed, but
they
then as it hears,
are laying
wants to
eggs
resonate,
and creating
skull
more of
expands
them? That's what I
open,
want.
and that then allows the
Or-
creature to hear and pick up on anything within the environment.
because
He's like, oh
when they
shit.
infect us, we look like them.
characters, it's always good to
just
base
with the
at least some of
fangs.
it on anatomy that we recognise,
So
and that provides a foundation for the vampire.
what
It's
exactly?
bipedal and human in its structure, but we've just changed things, tweaked them, made them a bit more alien. So, for example, the ribs joined together at the sternum to form a rib cage, but we've expanded it out
That's
quite a lot,
a
and some of
very
the ribs are
smart
fused
thing
together
they
to
did,
make
really.
bony plates. It's just to suggest that it's had a very different evolution from a human.
Okay,
We tried a
but, like,
version with human-style legs. But
the
in end,
parasite is
we
the
went
thing,
for a dog-type leg.
right?
It just made it more creature-like and more threatening. And we added bird-like talons.
But
on
the
toes,
parasite can
just to give it
create
some
more of
natural
its
weapons
own
and make it into a
kind
predator.
by laying eggs.
We didn't
which
want to
is,
focus
you know,
too
I
much
get
on
that.
bat reference.
So did
because
they
we were trying to steer away a
kinda
bit
look
from
like
the classic
the
bat-like
bat
vampire. We did go for two sets
thing
of bat-like
first,
wings. One of
or
the shots
is
in the
that-
game is of a vampire jumping down from above,
Is that,
backlit,
like,
with its
with the
wings out in
alien
an attack pose.
thing got
And when we saw
infected that they
pose,
naturally
we decided
look like
to add an
that
extra
way.
set of
Maybe
wings
he'll
attached at the
explain
hip joint. It just really helped that silhouette.
The environment is very interesting because they can use not just the floor, they can fly as well. They can walk on the walls. But they've got
Fuck all
blocks.
that.
So imagine something really interesting in a
I
cave
mean, I
where
don't
you've
fuck
got
around with
There's
anything that can
100%
fucking walk on
fucking
walls. Like,
all the-
fuck.
from every angle. I think that
Verticality,
visually
like
is something
100%
impactful
verticality.
and very interesting to look
I
at
don't wanna fuck around
and
with
scary.
anything. Fuck walls.
One of the interesting parts is the finding of those nuances and details that really bring
I'm fucking
characters to
sure.
life. How does it move? How does it behave and act? We had motion capture, and then we had the more traditional computer animation keyframing. On the motion capture side, there
That must
were
be an
a
interesting
variety of
job
different
because
setups
especially
that we
seeing
tested.
like your final
We had
product,
arm
you're doing all
extensions,
this.
You got this
had
guy
various
who's just
leg
pretending
skills
to be
our
a
creature
thing,
had to use.
you know?
But what was apparent when filming
And
this
then
was that it really
You
limited
use
his
that and you
movement.
build on that.
It looks
So, in
so
the end, we
weird
decided
when they
not to
do it
use
like
any of
this. It's
that,
like,
and he
this
just
is how you
performed
create a
himself.
video game. Man.
Basically,
This is how
this
you do
gave
the
him
thing. This is how you
freedom
do
to
all
really
that.
express that physicality.
And then to change
acting,
it,
and
like
gesture.
the amount of animation and shit, it's like, it's just weird, man. Impressive though.
Sound like bats. They hear you. They hunt you.
Well, like we're seeing the final product, but
The
like,
vampires have these head plates, these bony kind of gristly structures
surprised
in their
there's
heads
so many of
that
these
click and
games.
vibrate, kind of like a bat's echolocation. They're used to
I
survey
did notice
environments and
that.
to locate prey. We went through a lot of different iterations and we tried a lot of different things. Like I think I sampled keyboards and mouse clicks and then used a scooter fender and a wet trainer. And it made this organic, clicky, squeaky sound. And then I had a friend of mine in the States take a taser to a bunch of meat and a bunch of like organic material, and it came out a lot more aggressive. It just sounded meaner.
I got something for you.
So what happens when you taste
The
meat?
biggest thing that we had was
Let's
this
find
little
out.
tiny drum and
Hey.
a rod
Like-
with fishing line in between it. So when you twisted a rod, it made this clicking and
Taser
popping sound. So that
gets
ended up
me.
being one of the main tonal layers for it.
Now it's cooked.
But none of
and
them
that's what
quite
it
fit
sounds
right.
like.
But once we put them all together and like layered them all together,
Some
on top of
guy's
each other,
job
then
would
it
be
started
like,
to actually
what
work
if
as
we
a
taste
holistic
the
organic
steak,
thing.
though?
I'm sure someone did.
Something
There-
entirely new.
It's
not-
interesting that there's some guy who's just
You
like,
can't
I
tell
got
me there
paid
ain't
to
one
taste
guy
it.
that was like, well,
which we use
Because
a
I'm
very
the
wide
sound
range
Right,
of
they're like-
using
But it
It
would
sound-
be cool if we
distortion from those
taste the
shots,
steak.
which
It's
helps
like-
sell the power
and then they
and
incorporate it in the
hunger
game.
of the
They're
vampires
like,
as they're chasing the
that
soldiers,
does
and it helps
sound
make the
kinda
soldiers
cool.
feel very small
Like,
and very weak.
they're
In
like,
doing so,
this is a
that.
one-shot thing,
as
man.
the player
Spend all the
realises
stuff
that these
on,
vampires are inhuman,
taste the
and
steak,
that when you're
and
watching
whatever
what they're doing,
happens,
they're
happens.
bouncing off the walls and they're climbing on the ceilings.
Please,
and from there.
Saunders.
Then
Angry
the
man.
release
Anytime
more
we
of
go,
it.
the
Right.
players could be
Like-
running through an endless maze of tunnels, and we use very tight shots on these with a lot of handheld, a lot of tilt again to emphasise this claustrophobicness and this tension and not being able to see what's chasing them. And it's in complete contrast then to later on in the game
It's
where
so
we
cool
see
to, like,
these grand
watch
environments that they
people
uncover.
do
which
this.
are
Like,
Temple
I mean, I
City
love
or
that
things
people
like
get
that we
paid
have
to
these
do
wide
this.
shots
This
that
is
really
their
sit still
career,
and
this
just let
is
the
their
players
job.
soak in that
This is
environment.
their passion.
I would
in
love
life,
to
and
do
they're
something
able
like
to
this,
do
but I
that.
don't think I could do that.
The like
This
the
is the
effort
most
that they
complex
take to do
creature
this sort
that
of
we
thing,
have.
That's
like
just
so that we
fucking
can
neat.
enjoy just
But
a little bit
the
of
challenge-
their
I'm too blind for some
It's
shit like
more than
this.
a challenge.
Really.
It's the fun to do it.
I'm too blind
because
for
it's
this
not like a real creature.
I'm
you
too blind
can
for shit
push
like
it in a way that you can use your imagination to make it more interesting.
We're facing an enemy we know zero about.
Also, I really like
an
how
enemy of
diverse
unknown
their
size and their
team
home
is.
turf.
You can
So
hear
it's be us.
so many different accents. And they're all speaking English, but you can see that like it's clearly not. Like, I don't know. I like all that.
And
That was-
also,
that was
like,
cool.
there's some guys. It's like I know I have an idea what this is. And this guy's like, I don't know what the fuck this shit is. I just don't know. I don't want to fuck with it,
I
man.
do what my job is, man.
Right, like I do what says on tin, and she's over here like, y'all need to shut the fuck up. Okay, so will it? If we select part 1, will it tell us why we can't do part 1?
Check it out in just a second. Well, I mean, I guess we can do it that. No, it will not. Just part 2.
Because
Alright,
I
I
guess we
wanna end
would.
this for a second.
Okay.